brief introduction. I'm glad to be here today to share some thoughts with you guys on UX design. And as you can see here now, I'm a research scientist, and I feel always excited when academia meets industry, because we have so much to gain from bridging the gap between us, and that's my perspective on collaboration today. Besides UX, I'm also passionate about hot air ballooning, and because you have this wonderful Bristol ballooning festival here, I just couldn't resist opening my talk once again with a ballooning story. So when I made my first flight, I was super excited and impressed, and I asked the pilot how complex it was to maneuver the balloon. Surprisingly, he told me that there is nothing more easy than flying a balloon. And it is indeed true. If you want to go up, you just activate the burner to heat the air in the envelope, and to go down, you basically just have to let the air cool down again. So that sounded like a lot of fun, until a few years later, when I actually became a student pilot and discovered hundreds of pages of theoretical things to learn. So the thing is, if flying a balloon seems as easy as ABC, why do we need to bother with so much theory? And the answer is simple. Of course, you can keep a balloon in the air easily, but there is much more than that to enjoy a beautiful and safe flight. And I felt that this also applies to the field of UX design somehow, since it might look easy or trivial to design something great, but you all know that it takes much more than just creativity and design skills. Technology is extremely powerful. It has the power to shape experiences or to create new ones. And those experiences are definitely the true value of interactive systems, and we are right to make them an explicit objective of design. But as UX designers, if we have to think about experience first, then we obviously have to know what experience is about. And this knowledge has an impact on design practice. Here you have two images, and they both represent a wake-up experience. But as you can see and maybe feel, they are very different. And so the question is whether now we can create technology which understands the crucial features of sunrise and birds, and which succeeds in delivering a similar experience even when the sun refuses to shine, as it is often the case here, right? And the birds have already left for Africa. So within the next couple of minutes, I will now illustrate the importance of UX theories through two examples. And you will eventually see why I'm convinced that one of the keys to success in UX design might well lie in scientific research and theories. So the first UX theory I want to talk to you about is related to human psychological needs. You probably have all heard about the Maslow pyramid of needs. And since then, you have to know that further research has been done on human motivation, and we now have more recent models of psychological needs. And I'm, of course, not talking about this one. An important thing to understand is that psychological needs are qualities of experience that all people require to thrive. They are universal, and this is what makes them so interesting for us. As human beings, we are therefore all striving for relatedness and belongingness, pleasure and stimulation, security and control, autonomy and independence, competence and effectiveness, popularity and influence, and last but not least, self-actualizing and meaning. Let me now explain the link with UX design. According to UX models, people perceive interactive products along two quality dimensions. On the one hand, you have pragmatic qualities, which represents the perceived ability of a system to support the achievement of do goals. And do goals are actually tasks that people want to achieve, like making a phone call or just buying something online. And usability is part of this pragmatic dimension. On the other hand, you have hedonic qualities, which represent the perceived ability of a system to support the achievement of B goals. And these B goals, they are actually those psychological needs. Research has shown that it is the fulfillment of these needs through the interaction with a system or with a service that is the main trigger for positive user experience. So, does it look like a simple need to make a call or a desire to feel connected to someone? And does it look like a need to phone home or looking for the support of his relatives? And this one, is it only a text message or essentially a proof of love? Beyond technology, beyond something functional that allows achieving a specific task, the question is, how can we design a messenger application which supports these needs for relatedness, these needs for proximity, for belongingness that we all have, and that is eventually stronger than the simple functional need to send a text message from a utilitarian perspective? So what I say is, good user experience is the consequence of fulfilling fundamental psychological needs. And what we can do with this is to understand psychological needs and to use them to design engaging experiences. And here is an example of how it looks like when a product tries to fulfill a basic need. So this is a table lamp, and it is designed for a specific experience. So can you guess which of these 7 needs is fulfilled? Does one feel more competent by using it? Does it trigger some kind of pleasure? And in case you wonder, there is no vibrating feature in it. No, because that's something I already, I already take that example in previous conferences, and yeah. Anyway, does this connect me to someone? Well, here are some clues. The concern that this lamp is trying to solve is how can we help kids feeling safe and autonomous at night? And especially, how can we ensure that there is no monster that is going to attack them in the corridor while going to the bathroom? So beyond the classic lamp feature, here the kid can take a glowing ball to go to the toilets or as a nightlight in his bed. And this lamp therefore fulfills the need for security and autonomy. It looks really simple as an idea, but it makes things different. By applying the psychological need theory, a primarily functional object like a lamp might be transformed into something that is more experiential. And we could apply this to any artifact. How would an effective stroller look like? Maybe like this. And how would a safe bike look like? Maybe like this, with some laser protecting you. So, to conclude on this first theory, user experience needs support innovative idea generation, and they allow transforming daily objects into experience triggers. Let's move to a second important domain, which is emotional design. Emotions are the language of human experience. If we succeed in stimulating emotions, then we truly start shaping experiences. But again, to design for emotions means to understand them, to know what they are, how they arise, and also to be able to distinguish between different emotional states. We usually consider that there are 6 basic emotions. The first one is disgust, the second, happiness, the third one, sadness, and then we have anger, fear, and surprise. All other emotions are derived affective states or combination of these basic emotions. So if you want to design for emotions, we need to have a high emotional granularity. So if you never heard about that word, it basically is the ability to characterize one's emotional state with specificity, using discrete emotion labels rather than referring to global feeling states. So being able to distinguish between I'm happy and I'm amazed or excited, or all those different levels that we can have. It is a crucial designer skill because each type of emotion actually stimulates a different behavioral answer. For example, fascination encourages a focused interaction, while joy encourages a playful interaction. So if you know what kind of emotion to design for and what is the behavioral impact that you want to have, then you can choose the emotional level that you want. You can test your emotional granularity at home with a simple exercise. So you take 5 minutes and you try to list as many positive emotions as possible. And then you count them. And this is something I usually do during workshops with designers and very often with senior designers. And some of them, and you'll see if you give it a try, some of them have trouble finding more than 5, actually. So if it's your case, do not be too much disappointed. It's okay. But it's time to train your emotional granularity. And academic tools can actually support you. In the scientific literature on emotions, one can find affect taxonomies including hundreds of emotional states. But this is, of course, not usable in practice. Similarly, the 6 basic emotions mentioned earlier are just too simplistic to effectively support design practice. So that's the reason why the scientist Peter Desmet in the Netherlands created a typology of 25 positive emotions to be used in UX design. The typology is represented under 25 emotion cards used as a support for UX design, training, or evaluation. And we can therefore use this typology to design for specific emotions and to try to trigger particular behavioral responses. So again, here's an example on how to design for a specific emotion, namely anticipation. In Desmet's taxonomy, anticipation is defined as to eagerly await an anticipated desirable event that is expected to happen. So my question is, what is this mysterious box? And how does it trigger the experience of anticipation? So I'm pretty sure all of you guys have thousands of digital pictures on your phone, on your hard drive, in the clouds, anywhere on Facebook. And you probably have no time to ever look at them or to ever just consider them or show them to friends after the momentary interaction where you posted them. So this artifact is called Photobox, and it has been invented to explore how slowing down digital photo consumption could create an interaction pace that supports anticipation, reflection, and long-term interaction. So the design concept is quite easy. You have a Bluetooth printer, which is hidden in a wooden box so that it fits in your living room. And this printer would print 4 or 5 randomly selected photos from your Flickr collection, could be Facebook collection as well, at a random pace each month. So the owner has no control over what is printed, nor when. And here we see, for the guys who studied usability, for instance, here we see that the lack of user control, that goes against all standard usability principle. User control is the main criteria, like for good usable design. But yet, it is precisely where the emotion comes from in that case. So the research team has conducted a longitudinal study to understand the impact of Photobox on people's experiences with pictures. So what they did is that they have deployed 3 Photoboxes in 3 households for 14 months. And what they've observed is very interesting. So during the first few days, people would actually just open the box very often in the hope of finding something. Unfortunately, nothing happened, as the box was designed to print only one single picture in a while, randomly. So they were like frustrated and disappointing, nothing in the box. After 2 weeks, eventually, the participants found a picture in the box, only one. And suddenly, this picture was more meaningful to them than any digital collection. The people, they reflected on what they experienced the day the picture was taken. They showed it to friends and family, and even they started to develop some, let's say, weird old-fashioned behavior, like sticking the picture on the fridge or sleeping with the photo of a beloved one. So the photo box was therefore successful at providing a rich, ongoing sense of engagement with digital photo archives. It also prompted participants to reflect on the role, the place, and the pace of other technologies in their life. Last point on emotional design. Academia also provides negative emotions typology. And you might wonder why you would be interested in designing negative emotions, right? Negative emotions actually can have several behavioral, social, or experiential benefits that are linked to their specific functions. And they might also be important to design for rich emotional experiences, mixing positive and negative effects. So for instance, a roller coaster ride is a very good example because here we have fear with excitement. The application Zombies Run is also a good example because the principle is that while jogging, the application informs you that you are chased by zombies and you have to speed up because then you're gonna die if you don't. You can also collect some goods to survive in your neighborhood. So here you can see that sometimes playing a bit around emotions and knowing them so that you can truly master what you're designing, that's super exciting and you need to rely on academic theories to do that. So let's move to the conclusion. Designing for user experience is a complex and challenging activity, if not the most complex one. As Mark Hassensal stated, it is not about good industrial design, multi-touch or fancy interfaces. It is about transcending the material. It is about creating experiences through technology. To support you in this quest, you can benefit from decades of research in humanities, cognitive and social sciences. And all these theories, models and tools, they help us to understand what we observe and they provide meaning to what we do. So there are 5 reasons why, just as a takeaway message, why academic theories on UX are the keys to success in UX design. The first one is that they help us understand human experience. The second one is that they are powerful triggers of innovative design ideas, and you can use them as support to ideation and also to define your unique value proposition. Then, I didn't talk about it today, but theories on experience also guide the choice of design and evaluation methods that you're going to use. So just an example on that. We know, for instance, that the memory of an experience matters more than the experience itself. Every felt experience is meant to change very quickly as it fades from memory. So a few moments after an interaction, the experience is already a reconstruction, is already a remembered experience biased by all your cognitive processes. So in a way, it doesn't matter what a user felt during the interaction. It's the memory of his experience that will influence his behavior, that will influence his intention to use your system again or to talk about it or to recommend it to someone. So knowing this has, of course, implications on how we evaluate UX. And some might wonder why we put so much importance on assessing momentary experiences through complex and quite expensive psychophysiological measures. Because in a way, if it is only the memory that matters, then we should just assess the memory of it and rely on that to design future systems. UX theories also support the analysis and interpretation of data because they are truly like framework to understand the data that we have. And finally, they can be used under the form of pragmatic tools. They don't have to be boring. So if you sometimes wonder what research scientists are doing in their labs, you have to know that some of us are actually developing pragmatic design tools to support science-based UX design. And several of them are, for instance, presented under the form of ideation cards, as you can see here. So, and the best thing about it, you know what? Scientists are giving their tools away for free because they don't care about money. So you can download everything tonight. You can start working differently on Monday. Now remember, Theories are not boring nor useless. Catching up on emerging research and using academic tools is both a way to save money and to stand out from the crowd by delivering great experiences. Theory without practice is empty, and practice without theory is blind. So here is my suggestion. Why don't we collaborate to make a difference together? Thank you for your attention.